Hey kids, have you ever wondered how the world came to be? Well, get ready for an exciting adventure because today I'm going to tell you the story of how God created the world. In the beginning, there was nothing, just darkness. But then God said, "Let there be light." And just like that, light appeared. God saw that the light was good, so he separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day and the darkness night. That was the very first day. On the second day, God made the sky. He separated the waters, putting some above and some below to create a beautiful blue sky. Imagine the sky as a big fluffy blanket that covers the earth. Cool, right? Next, on the third day, God gathered all the waters in one place, so dry land could appear. He called the dry land earth and the waters seas. But that's not all. God also made plants and trees of every kind. So if you love climbing trees or picking flowers, you can thank God for that. On the fourth day, God made the sun, the moon, and the stars. He put the sun in the sky to light the day, and the moon and stars to light the night. That way we always know when it's time to play and when it's time to rest. Then came the fifth day. God filled the seas with all sorts of fish and sea creatures. He also filled the sky with birds of every kind. So the next time you see a fish swimming or a bird flying, remember it's all part of God's amazing creation. On the sixth day, God made all the animals that live on the land. Lions, tigers, bears, and even your pet dog or cat. But the most special creation of all was human. God created man and woman in his own image. He named them Adam and Eve, and they were the first people on earth. Finally, on the seventh day, God looked at everything he had made and saw that it was very good. He decided to rest, making the seventh day a special day of rest. And that, my friends, is how God created the world. Isn't it amazing? Thanks for joining me on this fun adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome stories. Bye for now. Bye for...
Why do the first two people on Earth live in a garden with a talking snake? Let's find out. In the beginning, God made the world in just 6 days. On the sixth day, he created the first man, Adam, and placed him in a beautiful garden called Eden. It had everything he needed, trees, plants, and lots of yummy fruits. But Adam was lonely. So God created Eve to be his friend. They had one rule: don't eat from the tree of knowledge. But a sneaky snake tricked Eve into eating the fruit, and she shared it with Adam. Suddenly they realized they made a big mistake. God found out, and sadly they had to leave the garden. But don't worry, they learned a lot and started the human family. So remember, always listen and make good choices. See you next time for more fun stories. Ahoy, little adventurers, ready to sail on Noah's Ark? A long time ago there was a man named Noah. He built a huge ark. Why? Because God told him a big flood was coming. So Noah gathered animals 2 by 2, lions, tigers, bears, and even tiny ants. They all climbed aboard. Rain poured down for 40 days and 40 nights. Splash! But Noah, his family, and the animals were safe inside the ark. When the rain stopped, a beautiful rainbow appeared in the sky. It was God's promise of no more floods. And that's how Noah's Ark kept everyone safe and sound. What a fantastic adventure, right? See you next time for more fun stories.
This is gonna blow your mind. Abraham and Sarah's adventure is full of surprises. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a man named Abraham and his wife, Sarah. They were super kind and always followed God's instructions. One day, God told Abraham to pack up and leave his home. Sounds crazy, right? But Abraham trusted God and said, "Let's go." So Abraham and Sarah set off on a journey to a new land, not knowing where they'd end up. They traveled through deserts, crossed rivers, and faced many challenges. But guess what? They never gave up. After a long adventure, they finally reached the land God promised them. And the best part? God blessed them with a baby boy named Isaac, even though they were super old. Talk about a miracle. So remember, kids, always trust and have faith like Abraham and Sarah. Who knows what amazing adventures await you? Bye for now, and see you on the next adventure.
Hey kids, are you ready for an incredible adventure? Today I'm going to tell you the amazing story of Joseph and the Pharaoh. Buckle up, because this one's a roller coaster. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Joseph. Joseph had a special gift. He could interpret dreams, but his journey wasn't easy. His brothers were jealous of him and sold him to be a slave in Egypt. In Egypt, Joseph worked hard and stayed true to his faith. One day, the Pharaoh of Egypt had some strange dreams. He saw 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 skinny cows, and then 7 healthy ears of grain swallowed by 7 thin ears. Pharaoh was confused and worried. No one in the kingdom could explain the dreams. But then, Pharaoh's cupbearer remembered Joseph. Joseph was brought from prison to Pharaoh's palace. He listened carefully to Pharaoh's dreams and said, "Pharaoh, your dreams mean the same thing. There will be 7 years of great abundance in Egypt, followed by 7 years of terrible famine." Pharaoh was amazed. He decided to put Joseph in charge of planning for the famine. Joseph became a powerful ruler, second only to Pharaoh. He stored up food during the good years so that Egypt would be ready for the bad years. When the famine came, people from all over the world came to Egypt to buy food. Guess who showed up? Joseph's brothers. They didn't recognize him at first, but Joseph knew who they were. Instead of being angry, he forgave them and helped them. He even brought his whole family to live in Egypt. Joseph's story teaches us about forgiveness and trusting God, even when times are tough. So next time you face a challenge, remember Joseph and how he turned things around with faith and kindness. Thanks for watching, kids. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for more amazing stories from the Bible. See you next time.
Hey kids, today I'm going to tell you an amazing story about a very special person from the Bible, Moses. Are you ready for an adventure full of miracles and bravery? Let's go! A long time ago in the land of Egypt, there was a mean king called Pharaoh. Pharaoh didn't like the Israelites, who were God's people, and he made them work very hard as slaves. But God had a plan to help them. One day, a baby boy was born to an Israelite family. His parents wanted to keep him safe from Pharaoh, so his mom put him in a basket and placed the basket in the river. The baby's name was Moses. Can you imagine floating down a river in a basket? Guess what happened next? Pharaoh's daughter found baby Moses in the basket and decided to take care of him as her own son. So, Moses grew up in the palace with all the luxuries, but deep down, he knew he was an Israelite. When Moses grew up, he saw how badly his people were treated, and he felt very sad. One day, God spoke to Moses through a burning bush. Yes, that's right, a bush that was on fire but didn't burn up. Isn't that amazing? God told Moses to go back to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go free. Moses was nervous, but he trusted God. He went to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh said no, so God sent 10 plagues to Egypt. There were frogs, locusts, darkness, and even water turning into blood. Each time, Pharaoh said no, but Moses didn't give up. Finally, after the 10th plague, Pharaoh let the Israelites go. Moses led them out of Egypt, and they started their journey to the Promised Land. But wait, the story isn't over yet. When they reached the Red Sea, Pharaoh changed his mind and sent his soldiers after them. But God had a plan. Moses raised his staff, and God parted the Red Sea so the Israelites could walk through on dry land. Can you believe it? They made it safely to the other side, and the sea closed behind them, stopping Pharaoh's soldiers. Moses trusted God and became a hero who led his people to freedom. What a journey! Remember, kids, like Moses, you can do amazing things if you trust and believe. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. See you next time. Bye.
Hey there, kids! Ready for an adventure? Today, I'm going to tell you an amazing story from the Bible. It's about a brave hero named Gideon. So grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's get started. Long ago, the Israelites were in big trouble. They were being bullied by the Midianites who destroyed their crops and stole their animals. The Israelites were scared and cried out to God for help. Now, there was a man named Gideon. Gideon wasn't a warrior, he was just an ordinary guy working on his family's farm. One day, while Gideon was secretly threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites, an angel of the Lord appeared to him. The angel said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon was shocked. He looked around and said, "Who? Me? How can I save Israel? I'm the weakest in my family." But the angel reassured him, "God will be with you, and you will defeat the Midianites as if they were one man." To make sure it was really God talking to him, Gideon asked for a sign. He put a fleece on the ground and said, "If the fleece is wet with dew, and the ground around it is dry, then I'll know you will save Israel by my hand." Guess what? The next morning the fleece was wet and the ground was dry. But Gideon wanted to be doubly sure, so he asked for the opposite sign the next night. And it happened just as he asked. Now confident, Gideon gathered an army. But God had other plans. He told Gideon his army was too big and asked him to send some men home. Gideon obeyed, but God said it was still too big. So Gideon ended up with just 300 men. Armed with trumpets, torches, and empty jars, Gideon's tiny army surrounded the Midianite camp at night. They blew their trumpets, smashed the jars, and shouted, "For the Lord and for Gideon." The Midianites were so scared and confused, they turned on each other and ran away. Gideon's faith and obedience led to an incredible victory. God had used an ordinary man to do something extraordinary. So remember, kids, no matter how small or ordinary you feel, God can do amazing things through you too. That's it for today's adventure. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tune in for more awesome Bible stories. Bye for now.
Hey kids, have you ever heard the awesome story of David and Goliath? It's a tale of bravery, faith, and a little guy who became a big hero. So grab your popcorn and let's dive right in. Once upon a time, in a place called Israel, there was a young shepherd named David. David wasn't just any shepherd, he was brave and had a heart full of faith. One day his dad sent him to check on his brothers who were at the battlefield. But when David got there, he saw something incredible. There stood a giant named Goliath. Goliath was super tall and super strong, and he was scaring all the soldiers. Every day Goliath would shout, "Who will fight me?" But nobody was brave enough. And David, though, wasn't scared, but he knew that with God on his side, he could do anything. He went to King Saul and said, "I'll fight Goliath." The king was shocked, but he agreed. He gave David his armor, but it was way too big. So David took it off and grabbed his slingshot and 5 smooth stones. When David walked onto the battlefield, Goliath laughed. But David was not afraid. He put a stone in his slingshot, swung it around, and let it fly. The stone hit Goliath right in the forehead, and down he went. Thud! With Goliath down, David had won. He showed everyone that faith and courage can beat even the biggest giants. The soldiers cheered, and David became a hero. So kids, the next time you face something that seems too big to handle, remember David. Be brave, have faith, and believe in yourself. That's the story of David and Goliath. Thanks for watching, and remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic tales. See you next time. Hey kids, today I'm going to tell you an incredible story about one of the wisest kings who ever lived, King Solomon. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Long, long ago in the land of Israel, there was a mighty king named Solomon. King Solomon wasn't just any king, he was famous for his wisdom. But what does it mean to be wise? Well, it means making good decisions and understanding what's right and wrong. One day, 2 women came to King Solomon with a big problem. Both of them were arguing over a baby, each claiming to be the baby's mother. Oh no, what a tricky situation. How would King Solomon solve this? King Solomon thought for a moment, then he had an idea. He called for his guard and said, "Bring me a sword." The people gasped. What was he going to do? He told the guard to cut the baby in half and give each woman a part. Wait, what? But just before anything could happen, one of the women cried out, "No, no, don't hurt the baby. Let the other woman have him." King Solomon smiled. He knew right away who the real mother was. The real mother would rather give up her child than see him harmed. He gave the baby to her, and everyone praised his wisdom. King Solomon's wisdom wasn't just about solving tricky problems. He also built a beautiful temple for God, wrote many wise sayings, and helped the people of his kingdom live happy lives. So kids, what can we learn from King Solomon? Wisdom means thinking carefully and making kind decisions. It means understanding what's right and doing good for others. Remember, you don't need to be a king to be wise. Every day you can make wise choices at school, at home, and with your friends. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. If you love this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more fun adventures. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hey there, kids. Have you ever heard of a man named Elijah? No? Well, get ready to be amazed, because today I'm going to tell you all about the incredible miracles of Prophet Elijah. Elijah lived a long time ago in a place called Israel. He was a prophet, which means he got special messages from God to share with people. But Elijah wasn't just any prophet. He did some pretty amazing things. Let's dive into one of his coolest stories. Once upon a time, there was a really, really bad king named Ahab. Ahab didn't listen to God and worshipped a fake god named Baal. So, God sent Elijah to tell King Ahab that there wouldn't be any rain for a long time. And guess what? It didn't rain for 3 whole years. Can you imagine that? No rain for 3 years, but don't worry, Elijah was taken care of. God sent ravens to bring him food. Yet birds flew down with bread and meat, just like a delivery service. How cool is that? Now here comes the big showdown. Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal to a contest. They built 2 altars and put sacrifices on them. The prophets of Baal prayed and danced all day, but nothing happened. Their altar just sat there, quiet as a mouse. Then it was Elijah's turn. He built his altar and even poured water all over it. So much water it filled a trench around the altar. And then Elijah prayed to God. Suddenly, whoosh, fire came down from the sky and burned up everything, even the water. Everyone was amazed and knew that Elijah's God was the real God, but that's not all. After the big fire, Elijah prayed again, and guess what? The rain came back. The dry land drank up the water and the people rejoiced. Elijah's story shows us how powerful and loving God is. Even when things seem impossible, God is always there to help. So next time you're facing a big challenge, remember Elijah and his amazing miracles. Thanks for joining me today, kids. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with your friends. See you next time.
Hey kids! Today I'm going to tell you an amazing story from the Bible. It's about a brave woman named Esther. Are you ready? Let's dive in. A long time ago, in a faraway land called Persia, there was a king named Xerxes. He was very powerful and ruled over many people. But our story isn't about him. It's about a young Jewish girl named Esther, who was chosen to be the queen. Esther lived with her cousin Mordecai, who had raised her after her parents passed away. One day, King Xerxes wanted a new queen and chose Esther for her beauty and kindness. But there was a secret. Esther was Jewish, and she didn't tell anyone, not even the king. Now, there was a man named Haman, one of the king's top officials. Haman didn't like the Jewish people and made a plan to get rid of them. He convinced King Xerxes to make a law that would allow people to harm the Jews. Oh no. When Mordecai heard about this terrible plan, he was very sad and worried. He told Esther, "You must go to the king and beg for our people's safety." But Esther knew that going to the king without being invited could be dangerous. She could even be punished. But Esther was brave. She asked all the Jewish people to fast and pray for her. Then she put on her royal robes and went to see the king. When King Xerxes saw Esther, he was happy and asked, "What is it, Queen Esther? What do you want?" Esther invited the king and Haman to a special banquet. At the banquet, Esther revealed her secret. "I am Jewish, and Haman's plan will harm my people." The king was very angry with Haman and stopped his evil plan. The Jewish people were saved because of Esther's courage. Esther showed us that being brave and standing up for what's right can make a big difference. So remember, kids, even if you're scared, you can be brave like Esther. Thanks for listening to the story. Until next time, keep being awesome. Bye.
If your watch history looks like a roller coaster, you're in the right place. Welcome to our channel. We've got everything you need: funny videos, cool tips, and epic adventures. But wait, are you missing out on all the action? Don't be that person. Hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community. Why subscribe? Because every time you do, a puppy learns to skateboard. Okay, maybe not, but you will get notified about our latest uploads. Still not convinced? How about this? Subscribers get exclusive sneak peeks and special shoutouts. Plus, you'll never run out of awesome stuff to watch. So what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button now. Join the fun, and let's make every day epic. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.